Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Um, Tonight wasn't pretty, but I must say this has been the match where every one of us has been the most nervous for a very long time. We haven't felt so unsure about where our team is and what kind of mindset our players are. Unlike today, so getting a win by hook or crook was imperative. Like it was so necessary to actually leave for the World Cup recess on a good note. So that when we come back, we have some sort of platform to build on. Because the past few weeks haven't been easy watching. It has been a drab. It has been frustrating to see players literally throw games away. Tonight wasn't much of a difference. There were still signs of very, very uh, shaky decisions, both in defense and offense. But somehow we made it through. We haven't, we hadn't, we didn't have a good record in the last four games against Cadiz, which I recall was just one win and two draws. So it wasn't pretty, but we got the job done. And we are just 2 points off Barca at the top of the table. Welcome back again. Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Um, Before we get into the thick of things, people who are actually watching us right now, please smash the like button and smash the subscribe button. It goes a long way. It is indeed very small, but it helps us long term and short term to keep us motivated to do what we do. If you guys like the content, if you guys want us to keep doing this, any kind of help is appreciated. And yeah, keep peeled on our socials because we have a lot of World Cup content coming. We have some people on the panel who are actually representing the people who are actually going to be in the World Cup. So it is going to be a lot of different dynamics. Some bragging, some bitching, but it's all going to be in good spirits for sure. um, Another small footnote before we get into breaking down the game. Would like to wish Kamavinga a very happy 20th birthday. Um, Still so young, has a lot to prove. Hasn't been really his season so far. The place where he left off, we expected the season to be so much better for him. But yeah, that aside, please welcome our esteemed panel, Doris and Javier. I want to ask you guys. So, is this some sort of a redemption or some sort of an improvement from the past few weeks? I'll start with you, Javier.
No, sorry. Um, I will make this reference. Do you guys ever feel so tired swimming that you think you cannot go to the shore or the end
I
of the
wish I
pool?
knew to swim, but
Definitely.
It feels just like that, like we barely reach the
yeah.
beach or the end of the pool. We we are in a bad place, but finally
Mm,
it's over.
mm.
I said
You
it
think it's
finally.
over?
Yeah, the World Cup
You-
is gonna
Okay, okay,
mess up.
fair, fair, fair.
Yeah, it messed up with our players. I think more than any other team that I can remember,
Mm,
because
mm.
I don't watch a lot of other teams, but it seems that like for us it was like the end of the world, you know. But it's finally over.
Absolutely. Yeah. The thing is, our attacking was, I think, was a bit less tonight. We were much more sharper. But with the defending, I would like to bring out a very famous jigsaw court. Like, do you really think the games are over? I don't think it is over, because defending is still shambolic. Even at the 94th minute, I'm watching Alaba and Militao just staring into empty space. Like they're like hallucinating or something. They just don't know where to anticipate the run is gonna come from. It's shocking. It's shocking at this level. The level of experience these guys have, it is unacceptable. But Doris, apart from the win, do you think you can take away good stuff from the performance against Cadiz?
First of all, hola, everyone. Yeah, I think for someone that is neutral, today was a really fun game to watch, and Madrid had, in my opinion, still a really good game considering everything that happened and the criminal refereeing. This game,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
it was it was literally a crime what he did. But
Alejo
yeah,
had like five or six criminal challenges. He didn't get a yellow. Did he
insane.
get a yellow
Yeah, he
sometime?
did.
Second half, right? Not
Second
not
half,
the first half.
just immediately before that, they subbed
They
him
subbed
because
him off. Yeah.
54th minute, I think.
It was almost like the
except
manager.
for the 54 second, because the first play it was a tackle against Vini.
Yeah,
Yeah, literally like 30 seconds,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, or 40 seconds on the clock. So Alejo was sent out by, this guy, the manager, Cervera, for one sole reason: to hack down players, to, just try and injure them. Literally, like, you could say not injure them, but to, break up the momentum and shit. But looking at the way tackles were going, it wasn't it wasn't clean. There was certain cynicism in and intent to hurt people in their actions. Anyway, sorry, go on, Dor.
yeah. It was an entertaining game to watch. I think we can all agree on that. There were some funny moments in the game. I mean, that Luka Modric miss was
Oh
really,
my
really
God,
funny. It was funny, and even his own reaction to to that miss was funny.
because he set up the whole chance. He
Yeah,
set it up.
he was right in front of the goal, and and he missed it. But yeah, it is what it is. It happens. He knew what it meant to him, and yeah, some other players that had like really stellar performances was Drameni. I think he had an amazing game. Um, he was crucial today with his interceptions and stuff. But maybe if we could mention Valverde not playing his old self, like what we're used to this season. I think he still had a good game. He did have a couple misplaced passes. I
Very
think
costly losses of possession. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but he was there. That's what we needed him for. It was a tough game, and if he wasn't there, I don't think anyone else could have really filled that p-
Void.
position.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as he did.
Mhm.
Mendy had a surprisingly good game, like a really good game. Maybe because we were talking so bad about him last game. Yeah, that could
He, he
probably.
had he had even more motivation because he was left out of the French national squad,
Yeah,
right? So yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and yes, we had some players with really good performance today. Of course, Cruz, and what a goal! Like incredible goal. That's probably one of the best of Tony's goals. I think it just sat perfectly on his foot, and yeah,
Usually 9 out of 10 times the keeper saves it. They
Yeah.
save it, but the sheer velocity with which it was struck, he didn't even have a chance to contemplate. It was gone by that time. Yeah, gone, Doris.
Yeah, that is it. Um,
We'll
Courtois
get into the players.
the game. I mean, he didn't have to do much, but that one thing that happened really, stained his performance. I think he knew himself that he screwed up. Like
Mm,
that was a really bad goal to give to them, and it actually gave Cadiz like new belief that they could do something where Militao and Alaba played like they usually play. Where they made mistakes again. After a decent game so far.
mm. The thing is, in my eyes, some people are just seriously evil, because they were piling on Thibaut and like trashing him, especially on the match thread. They were saying that all this happened because of his comments at the Ballon d'Or gala and stuff. And especially remember when I mentioned in the last podcast, Doris wasn't here, but Javier was here, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, when he came out in the post-match press conference and said, basically it was Danny's fault because they didn't cancel the first pen off for stepping off the line, but it was Carvajal enroaching the penalty box when the pen was taken, being the reason. So yeah, people are just bashing him, saying this is karma, coming back and slapping you on the face and whatnot. But very uncharacteristic. Like you don't see Thibaut making those kind of spills. It is just unheard of. But that is the thing. Like I've been telling my mates too that ever since the Clasico, that air of invincibility has been shredded off. Like it it almost feels like there is a gaping hole in our armor, and especially when I see the games live, I almost feel like the opposition has a chance to get at us, especially physically. And I've been telling this, over and over again, that the biggest example is basically Vinny getting, carried away. Basically, Vinny being, like pushed to the edge. Like seeing his outbursts. People get confidence. Okay, if we get at him, we can basically pin him down. But tonight, on the other hand, like I felt sorry for him because like you said, Javier, the refereeing was so shit. Like they were just giving Cadiz the freedom to do anything. But referees aside, the La Liga refereeing won't improve ever. I don't think. It is only a matter of like if these horrendous assholes finally retire, someone much more competent might replace them. That is the only hope. But let's go through the players. And I before we go through the players, I just need to ask you, Javier. So I read some interesting stats here. Before this game was played, obviously, Real Madrid's first 20 games last season, right? We had like 15 wins, 3 draws, 2 defeats. This season, it's the same: 15 wins, 3 draws, 2 defeats before we played Cadiz. But when I look back on last year, I never felt like, yes, we had the horrible Espanyol result, which was shocking. But I felt like it was much more smooth sailing than this. Like, do you think it is recency bias from my end? Like, do
No,
you think? Mm,
you the if you only see this like this part of the season as a whole, like 20 games, and you only watch that statistics, like wins, draws, and lose, you're gonna be missing a point. And the huge point that is, I think your feeling will be much more in this worrying momentum that you're still in. We all are,
Yeah.
because if you watch the goals conceded in those 20 games and you watch the goals conceded in these 20 games,
Mm.
you will see a difference maybe in some of like 10 to 15 goals, you know? So it's not the same winning 2-0. The
Mm.
feeling is so much better
Yeah.
than winning 2-1 and just almost ask for the game over against Cadiz in the Bernabeu. It's not right, you know?
Mm.
If
Mm.
you only watch the statistics, yeah, it's a win, but it's not the same as a 2-0 win, a 3-0 win, or a 3-1 win when the other team scores in the last second, you know? It's not the same feeling. And that will be only the reason that we are, as a,
Yeah.
as a fans, are worried, because
Mm.
you said in the chat, we cannot, for the sake of any God, keep a clean sheet. And
Mm.
that affects the how it's perceived, a victory, a draw, or even a defeat. If you remember, the last season we lost against City in Manchester,
Mm. Yeah.
but we scored 3 times. So the feeling, and you guys probably remember, the the post match, the sensation was like, man, Madrid are ahead.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And
I
that
was
is the
very
only
happy.
reason
Very
that
happy.
a clean sheet it's that important, for that reason.
Mm.
Only for that, because it doesn't matter. You win by either 1 goal or 10 goals. It doesn't matter in terms of points. It doesn't matter in terms of anything. But the sensation, the feeling in our team, in our squad, in an institution depends on everything, because it's not how, Barca thing is like, if we play pretty, playing pretty is not enough. Keep a clean sheet and scoring more goals is the only thing that this game is all about. Scoring more goals than you receive. But we receive as many as we score. And that's the huge problem in this season.
Mm. Yep. This season, especially since Benz has been missing, like the goals have dried up, and um, Rodrigo used to work for I think at least the first 3 match days, or something like that, and then Benzema and Rodrigo and everybody returned for the Clasico and stuff. But like ever since the Clasico, Rodrigo has been invincible. I'm gonna reiterate it again. Yes, he does some bright stuff, but he completely looks out of his depth. Like I don't understand why uh, the form has gone so shockingly bad. People used to be very confident in his abilities to play down the middle. Like even I was, like we all clearly knew that he doesn't have the physicality and such, but I clearly expected him to be putting in much better performances. But yeah, we'll discuss, I guess, the players when we get into it, like in depth. But before we do that, we have some comments. Usual guy, Ashik B is always here. Must love, bro, for always tuning in and supporting us. He says Doris jumps on the podcast and we win, which is an overstatement. Doris is the good luck charm of Real Madrid. Come on, this is basically OTT. We lost points when Doris was missing. She is our Luka Modric. Okay. Coincidence we think not. I think Yadu replied. Um, lol said, I'm happy with this win. To be honest, and as a Brazilian, and I'm excited because of Vinny seeming to find his form again. Yes, Vinny has been kind of off the boil these past few weeks, but tonight he again looked a little more re-energized. I think it's a combination of him having Cruz on his side, which kind of allows him to prosper a bit more. And yeah, like I said, like marginally when the midfield comes back into some sort of the regular shape, we kind of look like we have more ideas than the past few weeks when the midfield was kind of rotated out, Cruz getting a red card and whatnot. But still, man, Modric, I'm not sure. He had the best of games. Like, he had a far better game than last week. He surely can't have that kind of a game back to back. But um, this like, I don't think, like the commentary alluded to, like, I don't think Carlo is gonna worry how we got the 3 points tonight. It was all a matter of getting the points on the board and then moving on. um I guess it's a nice time to actually delve into the players. I'm going to start with you, Doris. Thibaut Courtois.
Yeah, we saw like today he didn't have to make a lot of saves, but the one
Mm,
that he did had to do, we all know what happened. Um, I mean, this season he hasn't been amazing. I mean, it he has set a high standard for himself, but he missed a few games, which was good for Lunin, but that time off, I think it did something to him. Even before that, he didn't start this season, as confident as he should have. It might be the award that he won. Maybe it got to his head. Maybe. I hope that's not the reason. But even if it is, I hope that there are people, in Madrid that can guide him back, to his old self. Today, I feel bad for him because he didn't deserve to have a game like this, but it was all on him. you know it was his own mistake, and he knows that, and he's going to the World Cup. I'm pretty sure he will be the first choice.
mm.
uh so yeah.
Oh, you know what I heard? You know what I heard, actually?
Mm,
Since you just mentioned Thibaut going to the World Cup, I heard Thibaut's getting first class tickets, and the other Belgian, on our team, he's traveling on the cargo seat. I
why
just
is there
read it.
even an option between the two? Why isn't everyone, traveling the same?
It
That's
was a
the
joke.
I
Yeah,
don't know. That's stupid. uh, but yeah, he's going to the World Cup, and I'm sure he will, give his
Yeah.
best there. Belgium did really well last World Cup, and he was
But
a
in
large
my
part.
opinion, they are finished. Finished.
Yeah,
so
I'm
you're
sure
saying the
nobody's
Belgium
expecting.
is gonna get in not in the round of 16?
Round of 32, maybe? Is there a round of 32? There
No,
is, right? No?
Well,
no. There's so all like group stages. You're saying that Belgium is not gonna pass the group stages?
They might pass the group stages, but I don't see them in the quarters. No.
Ah well, so it's only 32 teams. So going forward, it's round of 16.
Okay, 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 okay. Fair, fair, fair. My bad, my bad, my bad.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
they are
go on.
in our group, and I hope
They are.
that we don't have to see them later, because I'm sure they will give us a game. Because I mean, if we are looking like at the last World Cup, I'm sure that they won't play that well, and I'm sure Croatia won't play that well. But I'm pretty sure, considering both Luka and Co- Courtois, they will give it them like their best, especially Luka, considering his age and stuff.
They're the captains of both teams plays for our team.
Uh,
Don Luca and the Sonic best friend.
I'm not his best friend. I would like to reiterate that, not his best friend. But yeah, before we go on, we have a few comments. Ashik says 2014 World Cup never happened. There was no World Cup. which I totally agree with. It was a nightmare. Ashik also says, good game or not, Vinny stands up for his teammates. He is a club player. He's a Madridista that bleeds white and purple. Lolol says, "Oh, defense has been horrible." Um, yeah, Vinny, those kind of qualities. Honestly, it is very heartwarming to see because Vinny got like shoved to the ground by Fali. I have no idea, man, what these guys bring up in the VAR room because either these guys are knocked out or like they clearly are blind because he got mauled down to the floor and there was not even a yellow brandished up until Vinny came in and created a ruckus. Although he got yellow carded eventually in the end as well. But you see to what extents our own players has to resort for any order in any sort of order to be maintained by the guys who ref games. I have no words, honestly. It is just shocking refereeing. But
But
yeah, Thibaut, go on, have it.
sorry, Sonny. I think the real problem is a
Yeah.
systematic problem. You said it
Mm,
earlier. The referee is not like a week in and week out. We cannot remember all the referees' names because they all seems to be in the same line. Like Tebas is like, okay, you have free pass to do whatever you want. And
mm,
I said it already. The VI is rigged because the owner is one of the guys that give money to Barcelona. In I mean, in any country that will be impossible.
mm.
That's the maybe the definition of conflict of interest.
Yeah.
If you look in the Google map, that should be the norm. Like today, I was watching Twitter and Joseph Blatter is saying like, oh, maybe the Qatar World Cup is a mistake. Like, you remember
I read
that
that.
you are the one should be blamed for this? It's like how shocking that we didn't see a repetition for the tackle in the face by Rodrigo to Rodrigo.
Mm,
Sorry, it's not shocking. It's not shocking that any team they outspoke about it. The guy Raillo Raillo of I think it's Mallorca, and the
mhm,
guy from Rayo, I don't remember his name, outspoke like, yeah, we know how to get into Vini's nerve, and
mm,
and probably the commentators in English are the same in the same vibe that the commentators in Spanish, like, oh, maybe Vini shouldn't do that because he's provoking and so and so. It's like, no, man, if you foul a player, uh, it's um, it's not to the attacker to blame. Vini is a provocative player, yes, but don't foul them. If you foul them, you should get a yellow card. And the old teams like no, they systematically foul Vini, they systematically do it, and they have a free pass. Like because they interchange. I said in the first half, like probably 8 or 10 fouls against Vini, but not because it's not for the same player. It's not a yellow card. Like maybe just show the first guy a yellow card, and the other guys will stop that.
yeah.
And
That
has
that
to
is
be
that is the most pivotal role of a referee because one thing is maintaining order, the other thing is setting the tone. Like
yeah.
right from kickoff, the referee should be able to subconsciously communicate to his players what is allowed, what is not allowed.
But
Like if
Sonny,
he doesn't, yeah,
you
go
saw
on.
it all the way around. Remember
Mm,
when Pepe and Ramos was playing, like in the
yeah.
Guardiola Mourinho era, they almost gave Ramos and Pepe a yellow card for no reason. Like at
Mm.
start of the game, yellow for these guys
Just for
because
existing. I remember. Mm,
and why cannot see that in our favor? No, I'm not saying that they give yellow cards freely. No,
mm,
I'm just saying that if you're gonna set the tone, send the tone right, and the tone right is not fouls allowed.
mm.
So like
Yeah.
free for all, and Vini is a piñata because he's not. He's a football player, and the only reason that we're not seeing a good Hazard in Real Madrid is because they treat him as a piñata. And Neymar was treated like that. And almost all these commentators are like, oh, these are provocative players. Yeah, but those are the ones that we as a fans are willing to watch because,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm not interested in seeing, like, I don't know, 99% of players. I only watch these kind of plays or matches because guys like Vini, because guys like Benzema, and we should, as an football fans, maybe outspoke even more. You know,
Mm.
enough is enough. They're gonna break someone's leg, and that would be like, oh, it's so sorry. No, you couldn't prevent it.
I completely agree because this has been a thing that even the players have addressed on so many occasions, saying that referees don't protect them at all. Like, if this continues to go on, like, really good players don't, like, they wouldn't feel like showing up to Spain anymore. The league is basically losing out, and in turn, the fans are losing out. So I don't understand why, like, some like rash decisions are, like, a frequent thing every match week. It's insane. Um, but yeah, we have some comments. Tasaliva says, I don't see Kamavinga and Chouameni being creative at all. Well, Kamavinga, in my opinion, at least the onus is on Kamavinga to be a much more creative player. But um, Chouameni, Chouameni's role is different. So I don't see him being very creative either as well. Ashik says we need a favor from Javier's Mexico. Beat little fraud and his fraudulent team, please. Oh, Argentina, yeah. Are they referring to Argentina?
Sorry,
He was saying,
I didn't hear the middle part.
we need a favor from Javier's Mexico to beat little fraud and his fraudulent team. it's Messi and
Yeah,
Argentina.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I will. We will try our best to give them a solid. Like, there's probably no more in maybe only the U.S., but in football terms, Argentina is one of our worst rivals. They
Mm.
beat us at the World Cup like 3 times, and
Didn't they beat you at the which year was the World Cup held in Mexico? Was it 86?
it was 70 and also 86.
86. So the Mario Kempes goal against Mexico, when was it? 86?
No, Mario Kempes, I think he only plays in the 74 and 78. So
Ah,
he
my bad.
won with Argentina. I think you probably I don't remember Mexico playing against Argentina in either of those, but Argentina won in Mexico in '86.
Okay, okay. The World Cup, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They if
Mario
you
Kempes
ask,
actually getting the
if we
golden
have
boot.
an English fan, they probably remember the semifinal, or I think it was the semifinal. Like the hand of God.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Maradona.
Argentina
Infinite.
is probably one of the most you know national teams that had a lot of strong
Controversies.
enemies.
Yeah. Mm. Very, very controversial team. But yeah,
Last
lol, lol,
World
lol.
Cup we won against them, and
Yeah, yeah.
Luka scored
We,
a really
we
good goal.
celebrated, Doris. I you know that I have my Croatian shirt, and I was like so proud, so proud.
It was a good goal. I remember. I
It
I
was
think
it was
I
a Modric goal, right?
excuse me.
Modric scored in that game, right?
Yeah. Modric,
This is the
Rebic,
first of
and
the second.
Rakitic,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Rebic is back in the squad. He is
No.
back in the squad, right?
No,
No.
and
Wow.
probably never will be.
I
He
know the
got
thing with
fallen
his
out
in
in the Euros, I think.
mm.
You
One
know
game.
who is the national manager of Mexico? Do you guys know that? Who is?
No.
Mm.
Is one of the is the Tata Martino guy.
Oh, It's Tata Martino. Okay. Barca,
Yeah,
Barca former ex-coach. Right,
yeah,
right.
former ex-coach and former Argentina and former Paraguay, and he's trash. He's not gonna
Yeah.
call our best attacker. In this moment, we still not know if the best attacker of Mexico, and it's not a mistake to say that we don't have many, and he's one of the best, if not the best, and he's not gonna call him because he's gonna call a nationalized Argentina's born player,
Who?
Funes Mori.
Funes Mori. Oh,
Yeah, he
he's
has a team.
Argentinian. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big controversy now. Like, and every sports media in Mexico is talking about that.
So who was the actual goal player? Like he's gonna choose instead and call Funes Mori?
Well, this is also a controversy because he's another Argentinian born that plays for Mexico. His name is Christian. I'm sorry, I forgot his last name.
Christian.
Jimenez. Christian Jimenez.
Christian.
He's the son of one of the best players that ever come to Mexico, and he was like 2 or 3 years old than when his father came to Mexico. So he spent his entire life here, and
Okay, okay.
he now plays for Feyenoord, and he's the
Feyenoord.
current
Okay.
top scorer in the Europa League. He has more goals per minute than Haaland this season.
Oh, okay.
And we're not gonna bring him because Tata
Mm.
Martino.
Yeah, Tata Martino. I remember. He has his glasses. Shabby suits. He doesn't look like a proper manager. At least
I
I
remember.
remember.
Do you guys remember that Bale goal and
Yeah, that was that year,
quarter final?
2014.
You
I
know
remember.
when Bale destroys Barca, I clearly remember how Tata was like almost invading the pitch to give the like that brings me joy, and then Mexico decided to bring him as a manager, and I was like, what? Why? But yeah,
Well, we wish you luck with
I will
your
give
next
you a
manager.
solid. Whoever said it in the chat, we will try.
Right. I don't think Yadu has sent me those screenshots yet. Anyways, but yeah, Tasselip was saying hopefully our youngsters return from the World Cup and be like how they were when the season started off. But yeah, we took a big long detour. We were discussing about Thibaut, and yeah, like I felt like Thibaut dug his own grave tonight. And in my humble opinion, I used to be very strongly against Thibaut, like chatting his mouth because one, it doesn't help anybody. It is very selfish to be speaking about anything that involves your own team. If you're saying anything remotely regarding someone's performance or someone doing this or that in any context, in any press conference, it is just calling for you to be hanged. So Thibaut, in my personal opinion, should just stop doing it. I thought that um, urge for him to like run his mouth every other week was gone 2 years ago. But honestly, like if you do this, your own fans are going to turn against you because football fans have fickle memory. Like you were the man of the match in the final just 5 6 months ago, but now people are actually questioning you. Why are you actually trash talking your own teammates? You know,
I Sonny, don't you think it's not the same? Yeah, today it's 100% Courtois' fault, the goal,
Mm. Yeah.
but it was like a technical mistake. That he attacked the ball wrong and the pitch is not in a perfect format. But it's not the same that he 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 wasn't going for his teammates in terms of a bad technical, like
Yeah.
situation. He was
When I talk about the
talking
pitch,
about
people
them.
call me Klopp.
No, because they were lazy and they were out of focus. Like he wasn't like uh, criticizing his teammates for the sake of like the clicks and everything. She was like, we
He is
lack.
not, but you know how media can twist stuff, right? Like you shouldn't give anybody ammo to, write
Yeah,
stuff.
but the media is not the same as like us. Like the fans. I hung 100% with Thibaut with that because I saw that because I watch every game and I understand that he's right. When he says like it's Carvajal's fault, we said it in the post-match
He
show.
agrees to it,
It
right?
was
Like,
100% his fault, and it wasn't a technical fault. Because he was trying to attack a ball that was like 60 yards crossing. It's not a technical error. It's a situation error. It's an overconfidence. Like when Militao overconfidence, it's not like the same that like Mendy's error the other day. I said it. It's not that Mendy's error. It's a game and a play, and the other team also plays. Like it, sometimes a goal is it's a good play. It's sometimes
yeah,
it's an error. You know.
I'm not gonna see like this is not me trash talking Thibaut. This is
I
just
know. I
me,
know.
yeah, telling you my opinion that like perhaps some of the comments that he makes in the media should be a little more passive. I'm telling you, it might be in the best interests of himself, his team, everything. That's all good and well. But the media can twist it in a different way. And the fans, especially when you make a howler like you did tonight, like they would connect all of those things needlessly, like you can't help it. So it's Thibaut's personality. It is what it is. He didn't have much to do, like what Doris said, but that apart from that one mistake, I think he was fine. Some people were even saying, like Lunin would never in the match thread as well. It was funny to see, Lunin getting love amid all this. But yeah, moving on to the back line, Doris, Ferland Mendy, you seemed like you were impressed by him tonight.
Yeah, he didn't have a few good matches. I mean, he's always there, like we all know that, la la la. But we haven't had many clean sheets, and when you we're not gonna blame one person, and he's certainly not the one to blame. But for the whole back line, he is part of it, and some balls slipped through. Today, he had a really good game, and it really seemed like he was having fun and, kind of like showing someone you missed out on me. We all know where. But yeah, he in particular had a good game. Militao and Alaba had a decent game, and Militao scored, of course. But in the last few minutes, they played like they usually do. Not too
Yeah.
confident, letting the balls slip through. Alaba had one, howler. Um, so yeah, Militao, apart from scoring, he did go up a lot, and just as
Remember the remember the Zidane Pirouet on the
I
halfway
was
line.
just about to say,
Impressive, impressive. Honestly, I
yeah,
was I was impressed.
the commentator said like not many players would be confident enough to do that just before halftime.
Yeah.
Just you know, just as you need to the game to be stable with being 1-0 up. And yeah, he had an all right game, but the last few minutes, both him and Alaba were, lacking. Vasquez was good. Um,
Very good, very good.
you
Ooh,
you have to show love for Lucas. Uh, him on the right side, he was there for every cross, asking for the ball. Me, throw it to me for every ball, and the
imagine,
players,
imagine you almost tried a Lukita,
yeah,
with
yeah,
outside of his boot.
the players chose to play him a lot, and that is probably because of the whole situation on Vinicius's part of the field. Uh,
Yeah.
players couldn't play the ball to him very much because he was marked by multiple players.
It is funny when you say the whole situation on Vinny's part of the pitch.
It is his part of the pitch. It is his part of the pitch.
It
Like,
is his part, but when you say the situation, it is
ah,
crazy to even. Because we used to have Marcelo and Cristiano there, and we used to never
yeah,
worry about the left wing for years, and now it is a situation apparently. I get it. It's not good, honestly.
yeah.
At least tonight it was better.
I mean, I've said it. I said it a couple times already. Like we can laugh at that. We can, root for him, but it really changes the way Madrid plays. Other teams control how we play, and that is not through him. And our players need to know how to change the sides and change the pace of the ball because when when you can't pass to your left side, you have to pass to your right side the entire time. And Lucas was incredible today with the job he did. But yeah, if you cannot even use your left side of the field, except for just quick balls, if you even managed to pass those balls to Vinny. Other teams control us there, and last season, it was it was Vinny was a surprise to everyone, so teams weren't expecting. But you know, we've seen in the last two games, like teams are not having it. Players are attacking. Uh, Vi- Vinicius, and the commentator said like multiple players fouled him, but he's the one that got the yellow, and
Mm.
it's incredible. Like, come on, and
And the yellow was defending Rodrigo. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
it wasn't even like a part of the game. He was just yelling at a player with his finger up. Being all scary. But yeah, our defense for the question wasn't incredible, but I had a decent game up until the goal. And for the goal, I wouldn't say like um it was like mostly their fault because
Yeah,
we know what happened to Thibaut. I mean, Thibaut know it was his mistake. We can blame the pitch. We can blame the situation. He will blame himself,
Yeah.
and we saw that. Like he was his head went down immediately. He knew what he done, and yeah, we've been letting a lot of goals in, and hopefully
he
the
can't seem to. He can't seem to, like manage games, man. Like even even when we were 1-0 up, I see all these fans crying out, like, please don't be like last week. Please take the initiative, like
yeah,
go
that's
go
why
for the
I'm
second goal.
I'm I'm really sad for Mendy that he's not going to the World Cup because we're expecting France to do something in the World Cup. They didn't have a great
Yeah.
uh, Nations League and
Mhm.
Euros, but they will probably show up. They might not go to the
You
final,
know
but
the curse. They
it's
are going out
already
of
a
the
career
group
to
stages.
play, and Mendy
They
will
wouldn't
miss out on that.
they
So
wouldn't cross the group stages, so needn't worry,
yeah.
France, they're
That would
gonna.
be great for me. If we manage to pass the group stages, we should most certainly play against France.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
You want
You
to
never
play?
know.
I don't want to play them, but if we pass, they were probably because if we pass second and as expected, France goes first in the round of 16, we're playing against them.
Mm.
It's a fact.
Mexico against France is a mismatch.
We
You
won for
wouldn't.
the first time in so long against France. Like last time we played them again, Lucas scored.
And the last time we play against them in the World Cup, we win. So probably
Yeah, we did.
Which World Cup have you?
2010.
10. Okay. Okay. Benzema wasn't there. No.
Yeah,
Mm.
Benzema was there.
Same.
In 20, oh, he missed 2014. Fair, 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 fair
But
enough.
I think backing with in for the game, I think when what Doris is, it,
Before you go on, have you just give me 1 second?
yeah,
The other told me there are like 18 to 20 concurrent live viewers. If you haven't smashed the like button already, if you
please.
haven't subscribed already, please do it, guys. Already, it would be a massive help. Yeah, go on, have you?
No, but I'm 100% with Doris. Like I was hearing the commentators in the Spanish transmission that they're saying like we're not playing the game that Carlo wants. Like the game that Real Madrid wants, and that's been true for the last. I cannot remember how many games. Like this game, even if we win, we won. Sorry, we won in terms of what Cadiz wants. You know, last time we lost because we played what Rayo wants and Girona wants
Yeah.
and Leipzig wants. And
Mm.
for the first,
Even today, for large parts, especially in the first 20 minutes, I couldn't recall us making any moves.
no,
You know.
no, we if you put in a balance the whole game, just not part of the minutes, like the whole game, we play
Mm.
what Cadiz wants. And if you guys remember the first, I don't know, maybe 10 games of this season,
Mhm.
they're like, oh, Real Madrid is so boring, and Real Madrid is so, and we're like, no, we play whatever we want. We want to dominate the midfield, and Kroos has like a gazillion million passes, and also Modric, because that's the game that we want to play. So I don't see this momentum going forward. Like not playing what we want. I only see this like a consequence of the World Cup virus, and you know, and Benzema is not there,
Yeah.
not being there. So maybe that's the only reason of this bump, because it's a clear bump, and it's only like that. We shout out today for Lucas. I think he was very good today, but even that, it feels like we've struggled more than we, like tried, and that's
Let's
the tonic for the
no.
last games.
Yeah, like we can move into the midfield. I guess defense is no matter how much we try to break it down, some things are inexplainable, unexplainable. In our defending department. But Modric, you said in your opinion you felt he played really well. Like I hold him to such high standards, maybe probably because I still felt like Cruz was the guy who was dictating even before he gave set up the assist. Cruz looked much more on it. I honestly felt like Carlos should have actually dropped Modric because probably Asensio, was the guy we all were expecting maybe feature because he was massive last week. But I heard that Enrique basically, requested managers to, not field Spanish players and whatnot. So probably Carlo listened to that. I don't know. But Modric, yeah, a slightly better performance. Chouameni, like what Doris said earlier, was really good. I feel like this guy has a very natural magnetism towards where holes appear, just like Casemiro. Like this guy has a like what he does off the ball is very second nature to him, and I think that is why he is so effortless to watch because you don't see him just constantly haggling, you know, like attackers or like hurrying across to close, like an open space and stuff. Because every step he takes, he takes it with intent. So yeah, Chouameni, I'm impressed again. Um, Cruz by far the standout performer. Um, the assist for Militao on a plate, the weight of the pass. The timing of the pass, excellent, excellent. All Militao needed to do was just place it. He didn't even have to jump. It was so very well perfected. The goal, yeah, usual snipers finish. First goal of the season. Usually, it doesn't take this long. If I remember, his first goal last season was the banger against Inter, right? I'm not sure. I think it was the banger against Inter in the final group game, if I'm not mistaken. His first goal last season, but this season it was a bit more delayed, I guess. But still, well worth the wait. Yeah, I'm happy that there's some sort of balance in midfield, which was clearly lacking. Doris, did you feel the same?
Well, for the first part, yeah, Cruz had a better game than Luca, definitely. Even before the goal and even before the assist, he was really good. Um, we've seen this season his role in this team, but thankfully he didn't have to defend as much as he did this season. For Luca, yeah, he has really high standards, and today maybe it wasn't his best game, and maybe if he had scored that goal, maybe we would say it differently, but yeah, Chouameni definitely had an incredible game. He finally had like a really good game, and he didn't really make many mistakes. But later when Kamavinga came on, um, it exposed some of his you know problems that he has been having again.
Kamavinga?
Kamavinga, even though
Mhm.
he had some really good runs, and for a second he did look like Vinicius. It is his.
Yeah, on the
It's his.
left hand side. If I
Yeah,
remember.
it is his confidence that is literally like going up and down with each
Mm.
step that he takes. Like, am I gonna no? And he
He's
just
20 years old, Doris.
confidence to
Mm.
to just choose a path. Am I gonna go, full speed there, or am I gonna pass? And many times, other players catch him there, and what happened at least last season, he would foul the other player every time and get a yellow. Like that will happen almost every time he played. Someone catches him and then he tries to win the ball, and or it's either a foul or it's a ball outside. And he didn't have many minutes today, but yeah, it was an all right game from him. It was nothing special, but Ceballos, I saw Mendy was really yelling at him for one chance that he tried to take himself, where he should have let it for Mendy. But then again, I don't have the confidence that Mendy wouldn't have done the same thing Ceballos did. So yeah, some players really, showed up today. Some
Ceballos, Mendy was wide open. He just needed to, square it, but he didn't see it. I don't know how he didn't see it, like some of the decision making. Well, he has been rusty. He hasn't been getting game time coming off.
exactly. He doesn't play as
Coming,
much, but maybe he was, uh,
going for the glory, you mean?
I don't know, right behind him, so he didn't see him. We
Probably.
could say that, but that's the same thing. If you're in the defense, you don't do that. So if you're in the offense, it should be the same thing. Always watch who's behind you, because even if if it was the opposition player, the same thing would happen. He would have just put his leg in front of him and you know block the shot. So the same thing would have happened.
Before we move on, there are a few comments. Just Mohit Pahua says, told you that Cruz was the missing link. Yes, when this guy is, missing in action, you clearly see, what spies our midfield lacks, the cohesion that it lacks, the certainty that, like you can find some certain man somewhere. That almost the 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 sync, basically, like how people can play passes with blindfolds on. That aspect of the game is completely off it when when Cruz or someone like Modric is, not playing. Cruz again, like, showing why, we have been crying out for this guy to probably maybe, renew for another year, because at this rate he should clearly get one more year.
Yeah.
Ashik says Chuchu is the future leader of the midfield. He is only going to get better and has that presence of a future leader. Yes, but all these guys talk too much, man. I like Chouameni as well, but he had an interview where he says, you don't play for Real Madrid if you're, bad. So if you see me playing, it means that things are going well. I mean, I don't understand. Maybe I'm a bit old school. Uh, People come in and speak in their mind is always nice, but I would just like to remind all these young lads that, like, anything that you say in public is going to be used against you. It is how history has always panned out, because you never know when you might say something that crosses the line. It is the way it is. Ashik also says that Cruz is Don Corleone of that midfield, whereas Luca is Michael. Nice comparison. Nice comparison. Anything to add, Javier, for our midfield?
Just like to round out when the game against Rayo, we said it this Monday, it was probably the worst game of Luca and Tchouaméni in a Real Madrid shirt. So if we compare that game with today, it was a
Yeah.
good game. But
Mm,
if we compare prime Luca and prime Tchouaméni, it was probably today a 6 or a 7. So that being said, that is even more important in the role of Tony Kroos, because the
mm,
only missing man against Rayo was Tony. And
mm,
Tony's pivot. I said it in one of our shows that Tony is so confident with his role in this team, in this institution, that he plays without he wasn't reserving for the German national team. He only plays for Real Madrid, and he loves to play for Real Madrid. And you see that confident, you see that role that like this his presence in the midfield brings us so much joy. I agree with you. He knows that, I think he knows how important he is, and probably gonna renew 1 or 2 more years, because he needs we need them, we need him. And I don't think he needs us, but he loves to play football.
mm,
If you watch Tony, you see a guy that clearly loves to play. And maybe Eduardo's place in Real Madrid is the only fit that Tony has this role. Like, that's why we're not seeing this Eduardo's uh, best performance, because he's not substitution of Tony. He usually substitutes Fede or Luca. He rarely substitutes Tony, because right now Tony he has no substitution.
mm.
And I agree with our one of our
But the thing is, when February comes around, it'll be a different dynamic for sure. Especially in Champions League games, you'll see Kamavinga coming on.
yeah, yeah.
Really.
I think this boost, like being a World Cup, I'm not saying nominee, like being in squad, World Cup squad,
Mm,
and in your birthday, like 20th birthday, I can only see him improving, in his confidence, same as Vini and also Rodrigo. It wasn't that expected especially from him, to go into the World Cup. If Pogba and Kante wasn't out, it would probably not come a weakness moment. But this World Cup, even if he doesn't play that much, because I don't think he would play that much, but
Mm.
just being there will be
Yeah,
a boost in his confidence.
for
And
sure.
I think I agree with Doris. I think Ceballos needs to play a little bit more, and I hope we see him a little bit more. And also Fede, I still think Fede is not an attacker, so I will praise him as a midfielder, and today was okay for him as well. You know, nothing great, nothing bad.
Very curious case, whenever I see him, it's almost like Carlos' license is on the line. I need to score a banger tonight. That is the mentality that he has. But it hasn't been quite going to plan as of late. Valverde for me tonight, average, just above average, was nothing special from him. But yeah, he's someone who consistently puts in a shift. The least we can expect from Valverde is work rate, and he gave plenty of it tonight. Doris, do you agree, or do you think he had a quieter game by a standard?
I mean, by his standard, maybe not, because we're used to this season, him scoring. He did have a like couple good chances, but he didn't convert them to goals. He did miss a few passes, so I just can't say that he had a good game. But he was still there, and he did, just Federico things, things that he does. He has, strong legs. He runs a lot, and it allowed Lucas to be more offensive. And
Sometimes he was dropping back. I think most of the times he was being right back when we were attacking or something.
Yeah,
yeah,
When
and it worked out for us. It worked really well for us. So Lucas again, he had a good game, but maybe his crosses weren't, the best in retrospect when you look at it now. But both of them were really important on that side because of the situation on Vinicius side. So yeah, both players had a different job to do today than they usually do.
I think Fede positioning it's a key that we often don't talk about that much because I think to remember like he intercepts like three or four balls in the first half just to be aware of his position,
Mm.
because that's a movement that a midfielder does when your right or your wing, or, like Lucas was attacking, he knows that he needs to go just just a bit in the middle, and he recovers a lot of balls just being there. Like that's why Fede still thinks as a midfielder because he knows how to recover balls, and and then he thinks like an attacker. So that's why Fred is so important in this team because I think he's the only one that can manage to do both. Defend, but
Yeah.
defend without a ball, it's even more important. That's why Chouameni seems like so impressive because he defends even when e- uh, even if the ball is not near him. He knows where to position in order to be the next to the ball, like, or if this happens, like maybe give a tackle or so. I think that's the important and the physical dominance of those two guys is plus the awareness of positioning, and not a lot of guys in our team have it. Like Modric have it, but Eduardo not, and he needs to compensate with his speed. Also Vini and also Rodrigo, they don't know where to be. They reach to those positions because they are fast and strong and young. But if you're not one of those, or even if you are, it's even more important to know where do you need to be. And
Mm.
that's why Fede is amazing, because he reads the game perfectly. And today it was like, I
Yeah.
don't want to give my usual 50 run, 50 meters run, because it's 30 minutes away for the World Cup. Sorry, guys. I did this every single game. Today I'm not gonna, and I respect him for that. Like if I was Fed, I would probably do exact same
And
thing.
he's someone who doesn't hold back. He's someone who is always going full throttle. It is either all in or nothing for Fede. And yeah, massive respect to him, man, because his career trajectory is so interesting. When he actually broke through, I never thought he would turn into such a pivotal player for us, and not only that, also excel in so many multiple positions. And I just read here that he officially got called up to the World Cup, like it was a surprise or anything, but still, it is a massive moment for Fede and his family. Yeah, much love for him, and hope he uh, carries on being this talismanic figure for us, because we will need goals from midfield, especially in the second phase of the season. Um, Sorry, Javier, we have a few comments we need to address. This is going to be a little off topic, but I'm just going to cut in through with this. So, Jasmoid was asking us, I want to know the thoughts on Barcelona getting ahead in La Liga. I know it's not permanent, but just interested to know here. Doris, do you want to address it?
Uh, well, it's not by many points, so it's at least it's that it's I think 2 points only, which it's not a good sign, and it's not good for us. But I think it's doable, and I'm hoping, after the World Cup, our players come back, full speed. But I'm kind of having doubts that won't happen, because we have to take into consideration, as we are for the World Cup, that some players are gonna be injured for it. Some players are gonna come back injured, and I just hope that it doesn't play into our team too much, because uh, every one of our players in our starting 11 is really important, like
Mm.
we don't uh, everyone thinks that we have so much depth and so many players. That is true. We do have like good players on our bench, but for playing the system that we do, if we can call it a system, uh, you know um if someone gets injured, we're basically screwed. And maybe not for Benzema. We've kind of had to deal with it, and we kind of did well so far, like all
dealing
right,
with dealing
considering.
with La Liga fodder is one thing. Dealing it in the Champions League knockouts are a completely different kettle of fish. So I just hope Benzema and all those guys, like you said, like nobody from a starting 11 has to, I hopefully has to, like get like visit the ward. Hopefully they stay off the medical table, they stay fit, and like we have a good second half of the season. Doris, you said your mic is gonna turn off, so do you want to go off? Like it's totally fine.
No, my headphones are gonna turn off, so
I
I
know that, but if
hear
there's
you.
no other way, it's okay. You can leave. It's
Yeah.
completely fine because I know it's late.
Well, thank you guys. I'll see you next time probably.
My Doris.
Yeah. Have a good night, Doris. Take care. Well, yeah, unfortunately, her mic is basically dying. Well, what a shame. Fantastic win against Cadiz, and Doris doesn't get to enjoy it. It sucks. But we have a few interesting quotes, Javier. If you were checking Madrid Extra, like at the halftime break, three Cadiz players approached Vinicius and asked him like, "Who do you think you are, Pele?" You know, and Fali, the guy who pushed Rodrigo to the floor in the first half, and who kept us onside for the go-ahead goal for Militao's header. He said that Vinicius told us we are a second division football club. In football we say many things to each other, but there are limits that cannot be exceeded. Javier,
And
like, do you think? Go on.
so the limit is whatever suits you, right? You can say whatever you want, but you cannot uh, receive a punch. That doesn't seem fair.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, if you show a second division club mentality, obviously you're gonna be called out, like, regardless. I
Yeah.
don't understand like why
And
people
if you
get
say
so.
like, who do you think you are? Probably the best response to Vini was like that. Like you're a second division team. It's if Vinicius was the first guy to say something against them, I would probably say like, okay, Vini, you should keep it chill because they're gonna hit you. But if they, I as you say, like probably it's all the way around. They would probably at Bini, and Bini said that like in a response way. I mean, Bini is right. Bini deserves to be. I said it in some show like uh, Bini Bini needs to focus, and I said it that I think against Rayo that Bini needs Benzema in probably more ways off the pitch than in the pitch, but the thing is he's not wrong. And if you come at me, there are two kind of people, like the one that gonna answer back and the one that goes like this, like shorts. And Bean is not like that, like if you come aggressively, I will come even more and even more, and I can do this, like this Captain America meme, like I can do this all day. And Beanie is just like that. He can do that all day. And if you foul him, he will try to do a rabona against you and a bicycle, and then and then until either you break his leg or he scores a goal. And that's the way Beanie is. I
Absolutely.
say it's just a copycat like our guy Cristiano is that kind of person.
But remember, Javier, I used to say that I get frustrated watching him sometimes being very whingy, like always like moaning, constantly moaning. I don't like that body language. If I was one of his teammates, I wouldn't appreciate it. But watching games like tonight, you exactly get where this guy is coming from, right? Like where his emotions stem from, like what drives Vinicius so crazy. These officials being blind, the players hacking him down left, right, and center. Uh, this is not a surprise, but like you said, um, Vinicius is not someone who backs down from a fight, and he's also someone that turns up to a fight well equipped. Like he doesn't like act like what Jordi Alba does when he gets into a confrontation. Like Vinicius is a very brave guy, but like Fali also said, Rodrigo is a good boy. He basically said about Rodrigo that he's a good boy, but I'm not gonna say anything about Vinicius. I prefer not to speak. A club like Real Madrid must control certain attitudes. I don't understand. Like why people have so much hate. I think it's because like
It's a
I
polarizing
genuinely
player. It's a very polarizing player. It happens.
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I totally agree with the fact that he is a polarizing player. Yeah. But do you think he'll be bullied? Like he don't allow himself to be bullied. And like our teammates, I think, doesn't allow him to be bullied. Although we lack characters like Ramos and PK, but like, do you think that like handling this kind of pressure basically makes him uh, like kind of immune to all this? Or perhaps do you think that if he was as clinical as Cristiano, he wouldn't be facing all this if he was that good?
It's 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 a tricky one because I think Bini, if Bini turns to be, like 90%, 80% of what Cristiano is and was, it will be one of the best in history. And I think the way Bini is because he's been hearing that this comparison with Cristiano and Pele when since he was a child, and he compares to them, and he wants to. You said this word, he drives to be like them, and that's his entire motivation. I mean, agree with the comment. Rodrigo is a good boy. Bini is not, but but Bini is was never meant to be a good boy. His personality doesn't start in football. He Bini is like that as a person, and the way he plays football is a result of that personality. It's not all the way around. It's not common to see, like a guy. You saw that with Courtois. Courtois is a very aggressive and strong mind, and like my opinion is it's absolute, but you saw it on and off the pitch, you know, and Benzema is, like this guy that doesn't say that much, but but don't mess with me.
Yeah.
Like these personalities, we cannot change that because why would I want to change Vini? That being said, his teammates, and that's why I'm saying that probably Benzema and like these guys that has a lot more experience need to say like Vini, I don't want to change you, just choose your fights better.
Exactly. That is the perfect way to put it.
Not not the whole 90 minutes, not against all the teams, not all the time. And
Mm.
and he needs that adjustment. It's just like an adjustment. It's not a change in his personality and anything. I love him for what he is, but maybe he needs, like from time to time, like, hey, chill. And today was Luca. Luca, Vini was like this, expecting a foul. The referee doesn't do anything, and was Luca like, "Come on, man, we need you." And that would be enough. After that, Vini doesn't wasn't asking anything for the referee. So just a little adjustment. I don't agree that Vini needs to change. Vini doesn't need to change. Vini needs to be whatever he is, but choose his fights better.
Mm. I think he was very good tonight. I think compared to like the past few weeks, he was very incisive, very direct, always being an option, track and back. Um, Vinicius was a man possessed. I felt like how like when you said literally he was fouled like under like 40 seconds he was on the floor already. I thought, oh my god, like it is going to be a repeat of the past few weeks. He's going to be agitated. He's going to be, always be on the bad side of the temper scale. But thankfully he kept his head straight. He tried to make the best of whatever was presented to him. Like these guys always clearly look for Benzema. They see nobody in the middle. There's nobody in the middle to play off. Like these guys clearly they hit a wall many a times. Like I saw Fede doing that. Even Vasquez hitting that wall. That's why he took that shot. Vasquez, if you remember, the outside the boot shot. But yeah, in my opinion, Vinicius had a fantastic game. Yadu needs to go, Javier, so we need to kind of wrap up
Yeah,
soon. Um, yeah, Vinicius was pretty good. Rodrigo, in comparison, was absent.
he was already in Qatar.
I just
Mhm.
don't. I just don't. I just can't understand like how it affects. Like you should be more motivated. I know you kind of get um like doubts about like going into 50-50s and stuff. Like you don't want to get injured. That's always there. But you feel like this whole World Cup thing is a very bad distraction. But probably we might change our mind. Like in 2 weeks when it kicks off. But like it clearly hindered Rodrigo's recent performances, right? Javier?
But imagine this, Sunit. You're playing against. I'm not saying, like I don't mean to be mean, but name all the defense for Cadiz and the goalkeeper. Would you rather play them against them in this night of October, November, or would you rather play for your national team in a World Cup in 10 days? You know, it's totally. I know what you mean, but for me, it would be exactly the same. Like if you ask me, like would you rather be in this game as a fan, Real Madrid against Cadiz, or would you rather be in the World Cup, even if it's some countries that I don't care about that much, like this. I won't not say countries because I don't mean to be offended by anyone, but if you ask me, like watching Mexico against Argentina, would probably just compared to the Champions League final. And I would, as a fan, imagine if you are a player, you know? I mean, it for us it's not uh, right, and that's why some people are saying like, well, maybe you should start today Hazard and Mariano, and so these guys that not going. But I mean, we won, we're past, and I cannot say anything because Rodrigo was pivotal in some parts of this season, and he surely be for us when it matters the most.
Mhm. Yeah, this I hope once all this is done, like people are completely back at it. Like this performance last week was inexcusable. Like last week, what the showing was just below par. But tonight, even though it wasn't the prettiest, it wasn't the most dazzling of performances. At least the lads came away with 3 points at home to Cadiz. Cadiz historically has never been an easy team to face, especially for us. They set up to frustrate us, and somehow we managed to find a way tonight. Um, Before we wrap up, any final thoughts, Javier? Anything we missed? You feel like?
No, just to say to our viewers and whoever watches these shows later, uh, expect a huge coverage of the World Cup. We're preparing something special on it, and this is gonna be a huge effort for us, and we need you guys, and we need your support, and we need your likes and your shares, and because it's gonna be a lot of effort for us just to enjoy you guys. So expect a lot from us in this World Cup, and not much, Sonny.
Yeah, like what Javier said. Like it is not easy for so many different people from different backgrounds and different time zones and different continents to actually come together and do something. So like any kind of appreciation is very very welcome. Like you see on the right hand side, I think it's the right hand side of our screen. Yado said he has a subscriber count which he has set up. So you see, guys, we are halfway over there. So if we get to 1K, we can finally get the community features, etc., on our channel and stuff. So it is gonna be great, if we can do that before the end of the season. That is the milestone for now. Um, Love for the love. Check out Real Madrid Committee. They're our partners on Instagram. They run a fabulous Real Madrid fan page. Uh, yeah, also turn on the notification bell on our channel if you need to know when we set up a schedule, when we schedule a live, so that you guys know if there are any slight changes in the schedule and whatnot. As for the World Cup content, like beginning next midweek, the latest by next weekend, we'll be consistently putting out stuff. You know, like we'll be following our own players, and also major matchups all throughout the group stages, all the way to the final. So yeah, ignoring the human rights side of the Qatar World Cup, I hope it'll be a great tournament and we get a few rising superstars from another World Cup. Um, yeah, smash a like and subscribe if you haven't, people. So until next time, we I guess we don't play at the Madabao in 2023. In 2022, I mean. Um, we'll be back at the Madabao only next year. I think our next match day is the 30th or 31st against Valladolid away. So yeah, hopefully we pressure Barca and they crumble sometime soon, and we get back to where we belong. All the best to all our players taking part in the World Cup. People like Chouameni, Kamavinga, these might be their breakthrough tournaments. Hopefully, um, Rodrigo, Vinicius, all these guys, all these young chaps, like trying to etch their name in history. We wish them all the very best, and touch wood, they stay injury free.
Yeah.
But yeah, until next time, Hala Madrid, people.
Hello,